When we say budget phones, we sometimes correlate them from phones that look cheap, boring colors, or much worse, ugly design. But Nubia wants to flip the script altogether and release a budget phone that stands out among the sea of phones in the market with the Nubia V70 design. But the question is it just great on looks or something else? Hey guys, James here, your tech buddy, and this is Tech M.N.O. In this video, let's explore what to expect and not to expect on this phone with its price point and to see if it's worth buying and if it's more than just a pretty face. Let's find out on our Nubia V70 design review. So let's start the video with our unboxing. Here's the retail packaging of the Nubia V70 design in a red and white box with some highlight specs on the front. Removing the plastic cover now, and once we open the box, we can see the phone itself with some plastic cover with highlighted specs plastered to it. But let's set aside this for now. Opening the bottom flap is where you can see a clear jelly case, some paperwork, USB-A to C cable, a 22.5 watt power adapter, and oh, I forgot the SIM ejector pin is also included as well. I will put the box on the side for now, and let's remove the plastic cover on the phone and let's put it up. And that's about it on the unboxing. Before we begin, I just have a quick disclaimer to you. The Nubia V70 design that I have here was provided by Nubia Philippines to make a quick short review about this on our TikTok page. You can check out in the link in the description below. But for this full review, they don't have any input nor advanced copies of this review. They're seeing this for the first time alongside you. And if you're interested in getting this smartphone, I have product links down in the video description below. Let's begin the review first with its price. Technically, I always put this last on my review, but I need to talk about this right now because this thing will shape up our full review. What are the things that we need to consider? The shortcomings we will forgive and the things we really can't. At the time of this recording, the Nubia V70 design was priced at around 5,299 pesos. But sometimes we can see this go on sale for as low as 4,500 pesos. So basically, this really plays it on an entry-level smartphone category. The question is, what can you expect with this? Let's find out. Starting off with the design. Well, this was named V70 design for nothing if the appearance is boring. Depending on the color, it will offer different materials for the phone. The one that I have here is called Jade Green, which kind of resembles my Olive Green S23 Ultra as shown here. The back panel has this faux leather texture to it that kind of gives off this premium feel to it. The other color is so-called Stone Black with a glossy glass finish, which is a smudge and fingerprint magnet. So I'll pick green all the way. The one thing is for certain, you really can't hide the fact that the overall aesthetic of the V70 design screams iPhone, that you can also confuse this phone with the Tecno Spark 20 phones. But I will commend this phone because they put the power/fingerprint scanner button in accented color as to differentiate the volume rocker here. This was in color orange, which kind of blends in with the green as well for me. Going on with the front, the bezel displays are quite chunky, especially on the bottom part, but it's already a given since this is a budget phone. But what is a plus for me is the decision to use a punch hole camera rather than teardrop notch. Button port placements are typical here with the volume rocker on the right, mic hole on the top, the USB-C port, single speaker, another mic hole, and a headphone at the bottom and a SIM tray for 2 cards and a dedicated micro SD card on the left side. Let's talk about the display, which is quite a shock to me here. It has a 6.7-inch IPS LCD panel with an HD Plus resolution, which is a given. But the refresh rate here is 120 Hz, which I really don't expect this on an entry-level phone. But here we are. In this range, I just saw either a 720p with a 90Hz panel or a 1080p display with either 60 or 90 Hz. I just wish it could be FHD Plus display, but I can't complain here. What's important is I can see that it really smooths out my scrolling, and the UFO display test proves that it can go 120 Hz here. Other things that the brightness and color accuracy are not so bad to decent results, which is enjoyable with watching videos here. Before we go any further, if you enjoy watching this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you're notified when a brand new video will come out. And don't forget to follow us on our social media accounts like Facebook, X or Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and on TikTok at Tech M.N.O for more content and giveaways that you can check out in the card right above here. And with that, let's talk about the processor and software. The V70 Design is powered by Unisoc T606 with a Mali G57MP1 GPU, and it has 4 gigs of LPDDR4X RAM, 10 gigs of virtual RAM, and a super large 256 gigs of storage, which is an unexpected move by Nubia here that I really like. It's running on iOS 14 on top of Android 14 out of the box. Just a clarification, this is a standard version of Android and not the Android Go version, which is a watered down version OS that has been features being removed for the sake of being smooth that we're like seeing on the likes of Tecno Spark Go 1 and the Infinix Smart 8 or 9. With the OS, it's quite similar but kinda different layout with the vanilla Android or Pixel experience on iOS 14. If you're wondering, if you're maybe worried that you may have a hard time navigating on this UI, you won't have that issue here. However, the bad news is for those who will watch Netflix here, Wi-Fi certification is only at level 3, which for me is just okay because the screen is just 720p. Another bad news, but I already saw this a mile away, is the bloatware included after you set this up. If we include the other Google pre-installed bloatware, the total of additional apps here on the phone is around 10, but some of them can be uninstalled very easily. Now let's go with the performance. While 14 gigs of RAM was plastered on the box, the physical RAM here is only 4 gigs, which is a red flag, but we can't complain too much here. But I will complain about the 10 gig of virtual RAM, which is, I'm sorry to say, is worthless. Why? Rather than using a UFS version of the storage, the hardest nitpick I can find on the V70 Design is when Nubia used an eMMC storage here. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, eMMC. So, what's with that? It basically means that there's no real improvement in smoothness when doing medium to heavy tasks, and that includes playing games here. Playing Mobile Legends, I can see some frame drops and loading times that are so prominent, you thought that phone just hangs here. Plus, if I have 3 or more heavy apps in the background, I can see the struggling of this phone. So if you will play games here, just don't. I can only recommend this to casual users who will use social media and other stuff. And speaking of other stuff like audio, security, and connectivity are all decent here. The single speaker is okay, not distorted, but not rich either. If you want to hear your music properly, using headphones with the audio jack is the better option on the phone. Bluetooth 5 is stable as well, so no complaints here. The side-mounted fingerprint scanner is super fast and reliable, as you can see here. When it comes to the Wi-Fi, it has Wi-Fi 4 and Wi-Fi 5 features, which means it has a dual-band Wi-Fi support for better connection. And when it comes to the 4G connections with a stable signal, it's more than decent enough here. And now let's talk about the cameras. On the back, yeah, you may think it's a triple camera setup, but newsflash, there's only one usable sensor here, the 50 megapixel main lens. The others are just filler cameras, so I don't bother mentioning it. While the front has a 16 megapixel camera. Day shots with the V70 Design are good. It has great sharpness and clarity, but sometimes you'll see some smearing on some hard to identify artifacts that it's too painted like vibes. But of course, all of the budget phones kryptonite are the low light to nighttime shots, as seen here. Some of the shots are so grainy and noisy, and the color painted vibes I mentioned earlier are prominent here. But for some reason, the night mode on some night shots with some LED lights here, results are good on my liking. But again, lower your expectation here. Recording for the Nubia V70 Design. So this is 1080p at 30 fps. There's no also OIS in this camera, so let me know what is the output here on the stabilization. Here's our sample video recording test for the Nubia V70 Design on the front camera. Again, this is maxed out at 1080p at 30 fps. So what do you think about the resolution here? Alright, let me know in the comment section down below. Selfies are the same story as well. Good on the daylight shots, but too poor on low light. So if you're looking for a great selfie camera option on the budget, without sounding rude, don't get your hopes up with this. or with every single phone on the entry level because it's not their forte. Finally, let's talk about the battery and dark charging. The Nubia V70 Design has a beefy 5,000 mAh battery capacity and supports 22.5 watt fast charging. Not that fast in today's standards, but I won't complain anymore because in this range, the normal charging output is either 18 watts or even worse, 10 watts. So in my 2 weeks of using this phone, when it comes to casual use, my screen on time reaches around 11 hours on Wi-Fi and 10 for data with 70% brightness with a SIM card inserted on the phone. With some heavier tasks, it can reach around 8.5 hours. Charging the phone from 15% takes less than 2 hours with a bundled charger out of the box. Kinda slow in today's standards, but it's much better compared to the other phones with 10-watt chargers that took 3 hours, aka forever, to fully charge. So now I give you things I experienced with the Nubia V70 Design. The question from the intro still remains. Is this phone just good on the looks and not something else? Well, it's more than enough for that, but not too groundbreaking. Let me explain. While they nailed the design department with a cool faux leather bag with its green color, it can't hide the fact that the other silhouette of the phone really screams entry level. Yes, they made some great additions like having huge storage, 120Hz display, punch hole camera, and even much better charging output than the competition. For me, having an eMMC storage then putting 10 gig of virtual RAM on this phone is the ultimate backstab of this phone that makes the experience a little less a standout. So if you're a user that wants to play games on this phone or even edit some videos, I suggest you should either up your budget even higher or look somewhere else that offers UFS storage on their phone. But in the contrary, if you're just a casual user that wants to use this phone for watching videos with a bit of social media, putting a lot of files on the phone, and wants to avoid the boring colors of the world, then the Nubia V70 Design is the perfect for you. And it deserves a thumbs up for me. Again, if you want to get the Nubia V70 Design for yourself, product link is in the description down below. And if you want to watch my previous video, you can click right here. Or if you want to watch all of my previous video, you can click the playlist right here. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my two channels. Again, my name is James and I will catch you guys on the next one.